rational equations, which if you remember when we had problems with fractions in it, remember how to get rid of the fractions? Like this one right here, y over 9. When you have a problem with the fraction in it, we don't like dealing with fractions, so you can multiply by the LCD and get rid of the fraction. One fraction here, so multiply everything by 9, and it'll make the fraction go away. So those cancel out. You get y plus 63 equals 72. And subtract 63 from both sides, and y is 9. Okay, so the same idea works with the rational equations. To get tougher, to get rid of all the numbers and all the denominators, just multiply by the LCD, and they'll all go away. So just to go back to these real quick, well, number 1, what is the LCD? 4x, yes. What about number 2? You said B or D? D. It's D, right? Because what's the LCD of x and x squared? So if you wrote that out, you'd have x minus 4 on one. On the other one, you'd have x minus 4 and x minus 4, right? So you write the share once, and then you write the one that's left over, which is the same thing as x minus 4 squared. Or if you had the LCD of x and x squared, my LCD there is x squared. So this is kind of like that same idea. You have something and then something else squared. So you take the bigger exponent. All right, so if you have an x on the bottom, it doesn't change anything. We're still just going to multiply by the LCD. Still just going to multiply by the LCD. So there's only one fraction in here, so we're just going to multiply by x. So if I multiply everything in here by x, that cancels out, which is what we want. 5 times x is 5x. 8 times x is 8x. So now we just have a linear equation here to solve. Subtract 5x from both sides. You get negative 4 equals 3x. And then divide by 3. So x is negative 4/3. So again, once you multiply by the LCD, it makes everything go away. It makes it work out very nicely. Just makes a linear equation that y'all can do. Yeah, we can get one like this. B minus 6 over 6. B minus 1 over 5. B 1 over 6. All right, so my LCD here is what? 30. So if I multiply everything by 30, it'll make all the fractions go away. I'm going to start on the right side. On the right side, 30 over 6 just becomes 5. So the same thing kind of happens here. Do 30 divided by 6, which is 5, and then distribute the 5. So you get 5b minus 30. On this one, do 30 divided by 5, which is 6, and distribute the 6. So you get 6b minus 6. So now combine some like terms. Negative 36. Add 36 to both sides. And divide by 11. 4 plus 24 minus 8. All right, so on this one, both of my denominators are a minus 8. I'm just going to multiply everything by a minus 8. So on this 4, I'm going to have to distribute, and I get 4a minus 32. Over here, I have a minus 8 on top and a minus 8 on the bottom, so they cancel out. I get 24. Same thing over here on top and bottom. So I just get 3a. So here, subtract the 4a from both sides. Negative a. Add these up, I get negative 8. Yeah. And then I got to divide by negative 1 to get the a by itself. So a is 8. Yeah, last one. 2r minus 2. Oops. R minus 1 plus. All right, so on this one, before you find the LCD, let's factor this out. So what multiplies to negative 4 and adds up to be negative 5 and adds up to be 4. 5 and negative 1. That works nicely because now we have 5 and negative 1 over here. So my LCD is just going to be r plus 5 and r minus 1. So share r plus 5 and the share r minus 1. So now if I multiply everything in there by r plus 5 and r minus 1, so here everything cancels out. R plus 5, r plus 5, r minus 1, r minus 1. So that one just becomes 2r minus 2. Here the r plus 5s cancel out, so distribute the 3 and get 3r minus 3. Here the r minus 1s cancel out, distribute that 3 and get 3r plus 15. And we just got to solve it by combining like terms. So 2r plus 3r is 5r. Negative 2 minus 3 would be negative 5. Subtract 3r from both sides to get 2r. Add 5, you get 20, and divide by 2. I don't think there's any questions, so I forgot to ask this. Let's talk about it for a second. There's not any questions on the tester. We talked about domaining yesterday in the first section. What numbers can I not plug in to the bottom on this problem? I can't have 0 in the bottom, so what number plus 5 would give me 0? Negative 5. Or what number minus 1 would give me 0? 1. So negative 5 and 1 would give me 0 on the bottom, so they wouldn't work. So anytime you get your answer on these, you want to check it. If I'd have got negative 5 or 1, it would have been no solution. Because I can't plug that back in and work. So I get 0 on the bottom. But again, that doesn't happen on any of these, or none that I've seen. Just something for future reference. All right, so equations, you multiply by the LCD, make the fractions go away, and then it just becomes a linear equation. Did that one, did that one. I think I've done all the ones I want to do. All right, it's 7.6. 7.6 is the word problems. There's actually only one word problem though, so.